1938, the Indian Chemical Council has stood as the guiding force of India's chemical industry, a sector that fuels progress, drives innovation, and shapes a sustainable future. In this episode, we showcase a momentous occasion, Indian Chemical Council's 60th Annual Awards Presentation Function and 16th Annual Seminar on Recognizing Excellence of Performance in Various Facets of Chemical Industry. Here, the finest minds, trailblazers, and visionaries of the chemical world come together on one illustrious stage to celebrate a legacy of excellence, honor distinguished leaders, and applaud organizations whose contributions define the future of this vibrant industry. The event commenced with a warm address by Chief Guest Shri Dipankar Aron, IRS Joint Secretary, Chemicals, Department of Chemicals and Petrochemicals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India. In his address, he applauded the industry's commitment to innovation and sustainability, underlining the government's vision to strengthen India's global leadership in chemical manufacturing.
While it's imperative to have quality standards on products to safeguard the health and the interests of flora, fauna, and human beings, there is also unfair trade practices mentioned in the Bureau of Indian Standards. I think the real answer to this challenge lies in innovation. We have to pull our socks, we have to do that introspection, how we can produce those products better. Of course, unfair trade practices have to be very firmly curbed. There is no debate on that whatsoever.
Up next, the guest of honor, Professor Shirish Kedare, the director of the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, shared his insights on the role of academia in driving the chemical industry forward.
Yeah, I know what the industry works, and I see the difference in language, the thinking pattern, the emphasis, and I feel that unless there is a good interaction and exposure, there won't be excitement. The next is do things differently, not more. Can we do things differently together so that the world is different, better for tomorrow? That's the question, and our action today will decide it. Thank you.
Next, the spotlight turned to presentations by award-winning companies, recognizing achievements in academia partnerships, indigenous technology development, and excellence in process design and engineering.
Academia are partners in the business. They are not consultants or advisors. So if we make them partners, then whenever there is a difficulty, they come running and solve the problem.
I had been to China many times. Their industry, R&D is done by the research institutions, academic institutions, and then the technology is brought into the market. Why not do that? That's the best example in the world.
Moving on, the sessions continued with presentations by companies recognized for excellence in health and safety management.
Our industry has grown very fast, especially if you leave apart the last 6 quarters, which obviously we are going through tough times. But otherwise, between 2020 and 24, the industry grew very fast. But the fact is that the capabilities have not caught up to the kind of infrastructure as well as cautions or precautions that we need in many of these situations. And as a result, we see these incidents. So obviously, the onus is on all of us as leaders in this industry to keep taking the bar up when it comes to health and safety so that our people can be safe.
Moving on, the sessions showcased presentations by companies awarded for excellence in management of environment. Next, the spotlight turned to presentations by award-winning companies in the category of excellence in energy conservation and management.
There are ways to constantly look at our energy footprint and reduce it. And for most of us in the chemical industry, raw materials is the major cost, followed by energy. So anything we can do to cut this down, especially considering as a country we are a huge net energy importer, would go a long way towards our vision of true independence.
Moving on, the sessions continued with presentations by companies recognized for excellence in human resource management within the chemical industry.
As we all know, the challenge in chemical industry is to really get skilled manpower and also to retain them. And this is why the human resource function always remains on focus to identify the skill gap, make sure that that gap is fulfilled by the necessary training programs. Human resource function is very, very critical in our industry.
Next up, the spotlight turned to presentations by award-winning companies in the categories of Best Responsible Care Committed Company, Best Nicer Globe User Company, and Best Logistics Service Provider under Nicer Globe.
So this session is on responsible care. I will not give a big speech. The two words talk for itself. Responsible, the chemical industry has to be responsible, and care, right? We have to care for people.
Moving on to the valedictory address by Mr. Ravi Goenka, Executive Chairman of Lakshmi Organic Industries. Let's take a look.
As we bring the 16th seminar on the recognizing excellence of performance in various facets of the chemical industry to a close, I'm actually filled with a tremendous sense of gratitude and inspiration. We moved beyond simply applauding success. We delved into the very DNA of achievement.
We also witnessed the felicitation of the best driver under Nicer Globe.
Chemical industry forms major source of income for the nation. But that is as compared to many other businesses in the country. There is a huge scope for chemical industry to grow and make it as a major source of income for the nation. What is required is improve our processes, make them safer, make them environmentally free, and all these things are possible.
These ICC events are very important. They recognize excellence in the field of the chemical business. They also serve as inspiration to other members of the industry to see how those that are being rewarded have performed. There are also many of us choose to apply to participate. So very important to have these events where we are all motivated to participate, to apply. Some are chosen as winners and others can learn from their example.
Indian Chemical Council, which was earlier known as Indian Chemical Manufacturers Association, is held in very high esteem in the industry and also by government. It's the sole organization which represents exclusively chemical industry. During the annual award ceremony, almost who's who of chemical industry are present. And it's an extraordinary occasion.
Chemical industry actually is a basis of lot of materials that we use in day-to-day life. And what ICC does is it provides a platform for the chemical industry to interact with each other, to interact with academia, share best practices, and I think that's what makes this event so great. And that is why I participate in this event every year.
There are many nice institutions in India like the UDCT, ICT, and IITs. They all have very good professors and very good development laboratories where they do work with the industry and then try to develop new things, new areas of growth.
This is a session that we have today to actually share best practices and award the companies who have actually improved the most in areas or have shown area of improvement in the areas of safety, innovation, process design. There are various factors, HR practices. So we appreciate these companies and we just don't give them awards but actually ask them to share what their best practices are. So the response has been excellent and we're very happy with it.
Marking 6 decades of excellence, the 60th annual ICC Awards presentation function brought together India's chemical fraternity, a sector driving growth through innovation and sustainability. Led by the Indian Chemical Council, the evening celebrated the brightest achievers of 2024, beginning with the ceremonial lamp lighting ceremony.
The presentation of ICC Awards for the year 2024. These awards represent the highest standards of achievement in our industry.
The evening unfolded with a formal welcome address by Kartik Bharatram, President of the Indian Chemical Council and Joint Managing Director of SRF Limited. He set the tone for the evening by highlighting the Council's enduring commitment to fostering innovation, sustainability and excellence across India's chemical industry.
ICC represents 80% of India's $220 billion chemical and petrochemical industry. This year, we didn't just represent it, we helped shape its future. Together, we welcomed over 30 new companies, including HMEL, as a patron member. The growth reflects the strength and value of our community. The ICC Secretariat, our committees, and every member company, thank you for your trust, support, and dedication.
We are honored to have with us a highly decorated and distinguished person as our chief guest. It is my pleasure to introduce Sri Jitin Prasada, Honorable Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. ICC is very, very fortunate to have him as our chief guest. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Chemical and petrochemicals industry is so critical and important, from our farmers to their fertilizers, to our homes and roads with polymers, and the next level is with medicine and the health industry, which it also plays a role in. And now I'm also handling the IT ministry, and I have a glimpse of what the chemicals and gases do with tech, with semiconductors also coming into relevance and playing a greater role. So it does have a great bearing into how a country, the basics of any country are, and the economic aspect of it as well.
Up next, Shri Dipankar Aron, IRS, Joint Secretary Chemicals, Department of Chemicals and Petrochemicals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India, addressed the gathering. He commended the industry's contributions to India's manufacturing strength and reaffirmed the government's commitment to enabling a globally competitive chemical ecosystem.
We are at the cusp of a major transition from Vikashsheel to Viksit, laid down by Honorable Prime Minister of India. We have become the fourth largest economy, but we need to get to that 30 trillion mark. The chemical industry, being the mother of all, sir, needs to go from 220 billion today to 300 billion in the next 5 years, to 1 trillion in 2040 and to 2 trillion in 2047.
The evening featured a keynote address by Vikas Kaushal, Chairman and Managing Director of Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited. He highlighted the chemical industry's pivotal role in fueling India's growth and emphasized the importance of sustainable innovation for the nation's energy future.
Make in India is a theme. We can actually live it and make India as an export powerhouse. Building world-scale plants, often port integrated, because that's critical in the global trade, as I'm now increasingly realizing in the refining business how critical it is to be next to the port. Investing in logistics corridors, reducing the cost to serve, encouraging our firms to think globally, not only about local markets. So win locally, capture that market, but then think globally around it.
The evening then moved to one of its most prestigious moments, the presentation of ICC Lifetime Achievement Awards. These honors celebrated stalwarts whose lifelong contributions have profoundly shaped India's chemical landscape and inspired generations of innovators. The spotlight turned to the presentation of ICC DM Trivedi Lifetime Achievement Award for Outstanding Contribution to Indian Chemical Industry, Management of Industry, presented to Sandra Shroff, ex-Vice Chairman and co-founder of UPL Limited, a true visionary whose leadership has defined excellence and growth in the Indian chemical sector.
People don't seem to realize that chemicals are really part of our lives. There's nothing that we can have, nothing we can do without chemicals. Things are better than they were, but they can still get better. And India can certainly be a major, it is already actually a major supplier of chemicals in the world, and quality chemicals. So thank you all very much.
The next honor celebrated excellence in education and scientific advancement. The ICC D.M. Trivedi Lifetime Achievement Award for contribution to Indian chemical industry, education and research, awarded to Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, former director of CSIR IICT Hyderabad and former Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, for his remarkable contribution to advancing chemical sciences and nurturing future generations of researchers.
We all worked during COVID time, lockdown, while many institutes were shut down. Worked for 4 months and made this adjuvant. And when this adjuvant was added into the Covaxin, and after all the clinical trials, when Honorable Prime Minister took this indigenous Covaxin, and when we were watching this on the television that Honorable Prime Minister Modi has taken this Covaxin and the chemical, 15 micrograms of this chemical has gone to Honorable Prime Minister's injection, we all felt delighted. And then I know 20 crore people who took Covaxin across the world. This vaccine chemical was made, and all these quantities were made by the PhD students in the institute. So this shows how industry-academia collaboration works.
The spotlight then turned to the presentation of the ICC Lifetime Achievement Award honoring Shyam Bharatya and Hari Bharatya, founders of the Jubilant Bharatya Group, for their visionary leadership, entrepreneurial spirit and enduring impact on India's chemical and life sciences sectors.
We continue to be a large player in almost all the products that we make, including pharmaceuticals. So I feel moving from a license Raj with a protected tariff and now competing in the world, I have seen the whole cycle, which is quite interesting. So ICC's role is becoming more and more important in terms of understanding and taking this to all our companies in terms of how geopolitics is changing and is going to impact, especially supply chain related issues, is going to impact the chemical industry.
The spotlight then turned to the grand presentation of ICC Awards, recognizing excellence and remarkable contributions across diverse facets of the chemical industry. occasion culminated with a symbolic and inspiring moment, the handover of the ICC presidentship, as Kartik Bharatram passed the mantle to Ramya Bharatram.
As I formally assume the presidency, I'm deeply humbled by the trust you have all placed in me. I promise to build upon the strong foundation established by all our distinguished predecessors, working alongside each of you to champion our industry's cause. This 60th milestone represents not an endpoint, but a powerful launchpad for building an industry that continues as India's powerhouse of innovation, responsibility, and sustained growth. Thank you all for making this evening eventful and unforgettable.
The transition marked the beginning of a new chapter for the Council, carrying forward a legacy of collaboration, innovation, and excellence.
You know, ICC is a great voice for the industry. The amount of work that they do to make first industry competitive, be more innovative, and most importantly, safety is a big program, sustainability and responsible care. So they work with almost all the large, small industries to help them to become more sustainable, to become safer. I think that's the most important thing that they do.
See, this event is very important because actually that our selection process is very elaborate, and there is a qualified jury, and they select actually the best companies based on the good practices. And this is the event actually where all the good audis are presenting the good practices. So, and the industry crowd is there, so they get to learn the best practices and they can implement some of them. And that's how the whole safety and sustainability ecosystem of the chemical industry becomes better and better.
Innovation will be incredibly important for the Indian chemical sector. We're finding that India spends less on R&D than many other countries. So it's so important that we spend more on R&D and innovate to grow the chemical sector. We have incredible potential in India. The whole world is looking at India as a manufacturing source for the world, as an R&D source for the world. So if we come together, if we get our act together, we can innovate in so many different segments.
So our Prime Minister has laid out a vision for 2070 for carbon neutrality, and I think we as a chemical industry also have to be part of that journey and contribute to that vision. We have seen actually, while there's an ESG focus on manufacturing products and our industry, there's also a cost-saving element in using renewable power. So I think that's one distinct advantage that India has as an industry, where today renewable power is not only better for our planet, but also helping us reduce our costs and becoming more competitive at a global landscape.
Diversity in the chemical industry is changing, but very, very slowly. Definitely not to the extent that it is changing in many of the other industries. We need to see much more of that, especially in chemical industry leadership positions. It is possible. Women, so many capable women are doing so many innovative and path-breaking things, and we need to appreciate that, and we need to bring them to the fore.
Industry generally believes that academia doesn't have the required expertise or the knowledge in academia. The industry thinks that academia does a lot of blue sky research, but it's important that they should interact with academia, and the good science is there, and these forums certainly will enable both of them to make a matchmaking between both of them. Essential that all of us, especially the bright minds, should come to chemistry, and once they come to chemistry, I can guarantee that you will be in the best environment.
In the 80+ years journey, you learn to adopt something and then also learn to give up something. And the new trends which come up, new opportunities, new problems. So I think we are living in a very dynamic world in which a lot of expectations are there. You have to meet those expectations, both from the market and also from the environment and society. But we are happy to be part of that. We have no complaint. We are in fact happy to be part of that.
The ICC award ceremony is one of the pieces in the industry, right? The chemical industry actually revolves around safer practices, sustainable practices, and this this award ceremony brings together a lot of industry folks, their best practices. And I think bringing the best practices for the chemical industry is a unique piece what ICC does, is because that gives a lot of insights to other industry to really look at safety and sustainability.